All right, health coaches, let's talk about how to get you clients and how to help you deliver better results for them this year. What's going on, guys? Yuri Elkaim here from Healthpreneur. Hope you're doing great. We help health practitioners and coaches get more clients and scale their businesses online. And today, I'd like to talk with you about how to get clients, because that's top of everyone's mind all the time. And then once you have those clients, how to deliver amazing results to them without requiring you to deliver one-on-one coaching if that's something that's wearing you out. So we are going to turn our attention to the whiteboard. And we're going to start off by talking about getting some clients. Okay, so this is going to be first thing, right? You got to get clients to grow your business. If you don't have clients, you don't have a business. All right, so before we dive into this, I guess the one thing I should mention is that there are many, many ways to get clients. And the most common thing that people come to us for is for the following. They come to us and they say, hey, Yuri, I need clients. And I ask them, okay, cool. How do you currently get clients? And they tell me, well, they kind of just, word of mouth come in. And I'm like, well, you don't really have a way of getting clients then. And that's fine, right? Because the challenge is that most health professionals are not taught how to build a business. They're taught how to coach or how to do their thing. And that's why you're watching this video, right? That's why people hire me and our team to help them build amazing businesses. So what I'm not going to share with you here is how to waste the next several years of your life by posting ridiculous pointing finger videos on Instagram, nor am I going to show you how to write 10,000 word blog posts or even 500 word blog post on a website, yours, most likely, that will never get seen or found in Google. And that's not an attack against you. That's just the reality, unless you have a website that currently gets a monstrous amount of traffic. So none of this stuff works, okay? And it can work, but it takes a very long time. And I'm sharing this with you all from real life experience. If you've watched any of my other videos, if you followed my stuff, you know that my previous business, we built it to a very high level. We helped 500,000 customers. Our blog was at a point 1.4 million visitors per month. My other YouTube channel has about 300,000 subscribers. I'm not making this stuff up. I've been through this journey and I'm sharing exactly what not to do because I've seen how long it can take, and I'm going to show you what to do instead. Okay? So with that said, now let's turn our attention to the whiteboard. I have other videos on a similar topic around the two types of ways you can get clients, inbound versus outbound. I'm going to share with you exactly what we do with our clients here. It's called the perfect client pipeline, and it's a 4-step process. Okay, so when a client comes to us and they want to get more clients, this is what they do. Now, this is specifically for coaching businesses, but this can also work for selling a course. So step 1 is what we call predictable prospecting. Predictable prospecting is exactly what it sounds like, is you have a system. This is the key thing. This is the system what I'm showing you here, okay? So this is not you manually efforting your way to getting clients for the rest of your life. This is you put in the work once, you build a system, and then you make tweaks along the way to allow that system to work more efficiently so that you can step back from the business. That's what a business is. Otherwise, you have a job. So predictable prospecting is a way where your business, not you, can prospect on your behalf predictably and reliably 24 hours a day. So the way we do that is through, where do we go here? The way we do that is through Facebook ads. Now, this pipeline, again, I'll just call it PCP, Perfect Client Pipeline. This pipeline is really traffic source agnostic, right? So I'm going to draw a dotted line here. Everything on the left-hand side of this line doesn't matter. Like if you're using YouTube ads or YouTube or Pinterest ads or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like newspaper clippings, it doesn't matter. So the important thing here is to understand why this works and how it works. We use Facebook ads because it's probably the simplest platform for most people to really grasp. And that's where I think it's like 3 billion users or something around Facebook. So your clients are there. It's probably the easiest place to get immediate traction. So we start with Facebook ads. Now, you might be saying, well, Yuri, this sounds great, but I've never run Facebook ads. Exactly. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't do this. That's why you may want to look at working with us so we can show you how to do this, where you can spend $1 and make 5 in return instead of wasting your time for the next several years writing stuff no one ever sees. So Facebook ads are immensely powerful, but you have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just going to give money to Zuckerberg. Okay. So that's the first thing, is the predictable prospecting standpoint. You put an ad up on Facebook, you put some money behind it, it gets shown to more people. The reason we don't post organically on Facebook or Instagram for that matter is that no one sees your stuff, right? 2% organic reach. So if you have 100 followers or 1,000 followers, let's say 1,000 followers, 20 people will see your stuff. It's a complete waste of time and energy. Don't do it. It's stupid. Okay, so from that ad, we then get people to do something, right? Otherwise, we're just spending money for nothing. So the next thing is we invite them to some type of online presentation, a masterclass, webinar, whatever you want to call it. We call it Teach to Sell. That's TTS. Teach to sell, not teach to teach. And there's a very specific reason why we do that. And there's a very specific way of presenting that leads to more conversions while also providing a tremendous amount of value. Without going into the nuances of how to create an amazing webinar, think of it like this. When you watch a documentary, that documentary's purpose is to change the way you see a specific topic. Its goal is to maybe indoctrinate you in a way of seeing something. Think about the movie Game Changers, which is all about eating more plant-based foods. When I finished watching that movie, I was like, man, I'm going to go vegetarian again. That was my motive. That was the thought of my head. But here's the cool thing about the movie. It didn't tell me anything about how to do it. There was no here's how to juice. Here's how to make a green smoothie. Here's a recipe. None of that stuff. All it focused on was the what and the why. And what that does is it really builds desire for people to want to take the next step, to really figure out, oh my God, okay, well, tell me more about this system, etc. So I'll just call this a webinar. Again, I'll probably put some videos together on this stuff in the future, but for now, understand that you're not teaching everything. You're not giving away the how, okay? You have to leave something out. Otherwise, people will not take action, and never feel bad about that. Because here's the thing, is that you are going to provide tremendous amounts of value to them, even without that stuff. So don't worry about giving away everything. They're not, what you don't want to have people do is you don't want people watching your webinar with a notepad and being like, cool, I've got everything. I'm going to go try do it on my own. That's the ultimate disservice. That's the truth, right? Because no one's going to do anything by themselves with free information. So that's that. The third piece now is once people watch the training or the webinar, they're going to go to the next step, which is what we call ask and assess. And this is essentially an application. The key here is that there's very specific questions that are asked. Okay, so the questions you ask here are very important, and the sequence in which you ask them is also very important. But it's not for you. The questions and the answers are not for you, they're for the prospects. And I'm going to share exactly why this works in just a second. Okay, so that's the third step. And then the final step is what we call coach to close, CTC. And this is essentially a phone call, a discovery call, a sales call, enrollment call, whatever you want to call it. And the purpose here, the reason we call it coach to close is it's not a high pressure sales pitch, because the beautiful thing about the perfect client pipeline is you're only speaking to people who are pre-sold, pre-qualified, and ready to work with you. Okay, because you filtered out everyone else. It's not like here's a book a call with me on my website type of button. You're getting people to jump through hoops. Now, let me tell you why this works. Okay, this works for there's a number of reasons, but one of the most important psychological principles is something known as commitment and consistency. I'm not going to spend all video talking about this, but you need to understand this. And if you don't understand this, you're majorly disadvantaged. And the easiest way to solve that is to go read the book Influence by Robert Cialdini. Okay. And then actually read a second book, which is called Persuasion. Either way, you have to understand how to influence people to take action. It's very important if you want to succeed in business and getting clients. So you speak with a percentage of people on the phone, or a number of people on the phone, a percentage of them say yes. But here's the thing, is that you're not selling, you're interviewing them. You're interviewing. You're not begging them to work with you. You are the prize, and the prize never chases. You are the doctor. You are the coach. You are the expert. You have the answers. They don't. You tell them what to do. You let them pass border control, if you will. And then if you want to work with them, you can. Okay. So that is the getting clients piece. Now, I've obviously made it relatively quick and simple for the sake of time here. But what I'd like to, and again, if you want more in-depth stuff on this, we have a link in the description below where you can watch the full masterclass on the perfect client pipeline. But do that after you finish this, because I've got lots more stuff coming your way, plus other great videos on this channel. So let's talk about, once you've got clients in, what do you do next? So let's change our focus here to the deliver piece. And this is an area where, yeah, like, I'm gonna just play with my little toggles here for a second. Well, that didn't work. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I believe the medical model is broken. Okay, when I call it I call it the medical matrix. Whether you're a health coach or a medical doctor, it's the same stuff, right? And basically, one-on-one is no bueno. Okay, no good. It's not scalable. No one is helped by one-on-one. Now, if you think you need to coach people one-on-one, here's the only exception. You're dealing with people who have major trauma, major emotional, deep-seated shit that has to work through on a couch, going through hypnotherapy. I don't even know, right? Everything else does not require one-on-one coaching. I promise you this. We've worked with thousands of health practitioners and coaches in everything from weight loss, thyroid, adrenal, skin issues, gut issues, knee pain, neck pain, like relationship stuff. None of it requires one-on-one coaching. Now, one-on-one coaching can be added into the mix, but it can't be the foundation of your coaching business. Otherwise, you will be a slave for the rest of your business career. Okay. So I'm going to show you a better way of doing things. So first and foremost, let's look at what I call the transactional model. So this is typically what happens when you go in to see a chiropractor, a physical therapist, deal with a coach one-on-one. Nothing wrong with any of that stuff. Okay. It's like, I mean, I love my chiropractor and all these practitioners are amazing. They're taught a model. We're all taught a model that is just, I don't even know where it came from. It's friggin' archaic. So here's the reality is, if we have results here and we have time here, here's what happens is, let's say I've got back pain. I go see my chiropractor and he does a little adjustment and I feel a little bit better. Okay, so the results are good. Then I go back home and I sleep and I wake up the next morning and things go back down. I'm like, oh shit, I don't feel too good. So I go back to the chiropractor, get a little adjustment, things are good. A couple days later, life gets in the way, go back, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. Okay, so there is progress here, but here's the problem, is that it's very transactional. And what I mean by transactional is, I go into the clinic. I'm using the example of a chiropractor, but it's the same thing with coaching. Okay, it's the same thing. You get on Zoom, you have a call with someone, they give you their credit card, you take the money. It's the same thing as if you're in the clinic. So I go to the clinic, I get an adjustment. Here's my visa, $65. When should I come in next? Kyra's like, I don't know, whenever you want. I'm like, that's a bullshit response. Like, tell me when to come in. And that's going to lead into our next piece to this issue. Okay, so the transactional model means I go in when I don't feel well, I pay that visit, and then I leave. So I get better when I see doctor or coach, and doctor or coach gets paid when they see me. This is a doctor-dependent model. It is broken because it's not scalable and it's not sustainable. Because what happens if you take a week off? What happens if you get sick? What happens if you're not able to see that client during that period of time? Here's what happens. You don't get paid. They don't get helped. And that's nonsense, okay? So that's not how you deliver results. That is not how you deliver results. And the other thing too is, and this ties into the mindset that a lot of practitioners and coaches don't like selling, is I will go into a clinic with, let's say, a back issue or a shoulder issue. And this is actually across the world. I'll give you two quick examples. I'll go into my physio, shoulder issue. I get a 20-minute acupuncture treatment. And I'm like, when should I come in next? He's like, well, whenever you want. I'm like, dude, that is the worst answer of all time. Tell me when to come in. Tell me how often I need to see you. Tell me what to do. And when I was in Australia, same thing happened. I had a bit of a calf issue from doing a lot of running and stuff. So I went to see the physio. Again, other side of the world. I live in Toronto and I was in Australia for 3 months, and I go to see a physio there. Same thing. He treats my calf, and I go to check out, and he's like, yeah, see how it goes for a couple days. And if you want to come back in, you know where to find us. I'm like, how do you run a business like that? So that's the transactional model. It is archaic. It doesn't serve you. Please don't do that anymore if you're doing it. And if you're not doing it, don't even start. Okay, I'm going to show you the better way of doing things. Okay, so the better way of doing things is the following. So you have a client who enrolls with you, and they do not enroll with you on a one-off session basis. Okay, I want you to just like commit this to memory. You do not work one-off sessions with clients ever again. It is a waste of time for you and them. It doesn't serve them. It's the worst possible thing you can do. Okay. Here's what you do. You speak with a client, they have an issue. You're like, great. Here's the plan. It's X number of weeks. We're going to help you achieve this outcome. Here's the price. Done. Okay. 12 weeks, $3,000. Outcome is this. Want it? Yes. No. Fine. Instead of saying it's $50 a session and we're going to do 500 sessions over the next whatever, right? It doesn't matter. The deliverables or the number of sessions do not matter. It's the outcome that people want. So here's how this looks, is you're going to have check-ins, whether they're, one-on-one calls, group calls, accountability check-ins, whatever you want to call them, and we'll just put them at random parts here, okay? So these little dots are you interacting with the client. Now, here's the thing though, is that the big difference in what I call the transformational model is that there are some really important things happening here, 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 and pretty much the whole way, okay? This is client empowered. So it's not doctor dependent, it's client empowered, which means the client is taking ownership of their own healing journey. They're doing things on their own to get better. You have stuff put together for them. You have exercises, you have trainings, you've got whatever, a habit to build for the week. That's what they focus on. And then they check in with you. So so you see the difference, right? Transactional model is I show up at clinic, I get some type of treatments, and then I do nothing. And then I get not so good again. I go back to clinic where I see coach. Things get a little bit better, and then I do nothing. Okay, that's in the purest sense, the transactional model. Now, the transformational model, even in a hybrid model, like if you're a clinician or a practitioner, is, let's say I was going to go see my physio for a shoulder issue. I go see the physio for a 20-minute acupuncture appointment. And then he tells me, hey, when you're done here, I'm going to give you login to our online portal. You're going to go back home, and every single day for the next week, I need you to do exercises or videos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, 10 minutes a day. That's all I need you to do. I'm like, okay, cool. Because what happens is I take ownership of my own healing and I get better on my own. So the next time I see him, there's progress independent of seeing him. And here's the big distinction for you as a coach or practitioner is you need to get paid for what you know, not for what you do. Okay. So in this example, physical therapist is telling me what to do on my own based on what he knows I should be doing, instead of just getting paid for what he does when I'm with him physically. Do you see the distinction there? And that is the biggest shift that you have to have as a coach or a practitioner if you want to build a big business that doesn't rely on you every single step of the way. Because if you build a business that is transactional one-on-one, and we're just talking about the delivery, we're not even talking about like the pain in the ass of trying to get clients manually, right? Like word of mouth, hope and pray, all that kind of stuff, right? So we're just assuming you have a perfect client pipeline built in, you got clients coming in, whatever frequency. You cannot scale that business. Even if the front end is dialed in, you can't take on more clients than you can handle. So if you have a transactional model, you'll be stuck probably in the neighborhood of 10 to 15K a month, right? Some people might say, that's amazing. I would love to be there. don't be there. That's not the ceiling. That's a small business. That's barely making a living because that's business revenue. That's not personal income. So you have to think about the infrastructure on the delivery side is going to determine the amount of scale you can have in your business and ultimately the number of people you can help. When you have the capacity on the back end, it gives you freedom on the front end to fill as much as you possibly can. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, again, I haven't gone into, all right, well, what if I've got like 100 clients and I can't do all the coaching myself? Listen, like obviously there's other ways you have to, there's building a team, et cetera, and time, whatever. That's important. But for now, I just want to give you the understanding, the framework at a high level of how to get clients and how to deliver to them. We want to move away from the transactional stuff, move to transformational. And all I've talked about here is just the thought, the idea of getting people to do things between sessions with you. And so what does that look like? Well, maybe you have an online platform. Maybe you use Kajabi or ClickFunnels and you house trainings in there, downloadable worksheets or exercises that they can do, how you support them, group calls, Facebook groups. There's all sorts of stuff, right? Like we do this every single day with our clients and we do a really good job at this. But the cool part about the delivery is that there's no one way of doing it. And it really comes down to your creativity. Like there's so many cool things you can do. So anyways, that's, I'll keep it there just to keep the video relatively tight at 21 minutes. But here's what I'd love for you to do. If you've enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel because this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's tons of other stuff to help you with your business. And also what I'd recommend doing next is watch the next video that I think would be really helpful for you. It's called 4 Marketing Mistakes That Health Coaches Make That Basically kills their business. I'll link up to that below. We'll probably link up to it on the video as well. Watch that next because it's really important. I think it's a nice segue after watching this video to watch that one. So you can just kind of dial in some of these mistakes that a lot of health coaches are making. Hopefully you don't make them either. That way you can grow a better business without all the suffering. Sound good? Hope you've enjoyed. Subscribe and I'll see you there.